This week, Enes Kanter, who legally changed his last name to Freedom, went on Fox News and caused some waves in the online sphere. Kanter put on a front like he was going on the air to defend women. The topic he discussed was how there shouldn't be trans women allowed in women's sports, which I totally agree with. It's just biologically unfair for them to compete on the women's side. We've seen it in swimming, cycling, and even fighting sports. But to make his point that supposedly defended women, he disparaged the WNBA and the competition level that exists there. He claimed that he should put on a wig and play in the WNBA to prove his point of unfairness, and that he would average 60 points and 30 rebounds a game in the WNBA. I want to be very upfront here. Enes Kanter would not put up even close to those numbers. Would he average 30 and 15? I mean, maybe, but there's no chance on earth he's putting up 60 and 30 a night. This is a dude that nobody in the NBA wants, because he can't guard the pick and roll to save his life. There's even a clip of the Miss California pageant winner scoring on him, even though she clearly didn't play basketball. He's just a horrendous defender, and to be honest, I don't think the WNBA teams would even want him. There are better players than him in that league, and he needs to get an ego check. The way Kanter talks about himself, you'd think he was a star in the NBA and a nearly unstoppable force. Was he an NBA scrub? No, but he was the definition of average at best. For his career, he averaged 11 points and 8 rebounds per game, but he never even averaged 1 block per game, and consistently graded out as a very negative defender according to Defensive Box Plus Minus. This is a guy that constantly whines about not being in the NBA, and even blames his stance against the CCP for it. Yet just a few years ago, Kanter openly lamented that he didn't have a Nike contract, and said that he hoped to secure a, quote, Chinese shoe deal, unquote. He's a walking contradiction, and just isn't as good at hoops as he thinks he is. Enes Kanter is the biggest clown in basketball. Now let's take a deeper look at why. Before we get into the long list of ridiculousness from former NBA big man Enes Kanter, if you enjoy my content and watch a few videos of mine, think about subscribing. 96% of my viewers are actually not subscribed, so if you watched it before and enjoy the content, drop a sub and comment down below. It really helps the channel. Enes Kanter has a long history of delusional and embarrassing actions. The one that sticks out in my head is the time that he called out LeBron James on social media. Then when LeBron played Kanter in the Knicks, there was a point in the game where LeBron stared directly at Kanter's face. Yet rather than actually talk back and stand up for himself, he refused to look LeBron in the eyes, because he's a coward. Then there was a point where he hit a wide open 3 in garbage time, with LeBron not even on the court. He proceeded to post the clip on social media with the tagline, "In your face," with a crown emoji after. It was clearly meant to be a jab at the king, but I'm still looking to see whose face it was in. Kanter is a keyboard warrior and not a real tough guy. Before we get into the idea he's floating that he was blackballed from the NBA, I want to look at his recent comments concerning transgender athletes. As I said in the intro, I don't believe that trans women should be allowed to play in women's sports. This is the same point that Kanter was trying to get across on Fox News. Yet Kanter does not really care about women, women's sports, or any sort of feminism. Kanter, like most fake activists who claim to care about women's sports, never has anything to say in favor of better pay for pro-women's athletes, better travel conditions, etc. A quick perusal of his social media doesn't evidence much of a background or interest in women's sports, outside of screeching about trans women and picking a fight with the Washington Mystics' Natasha Cloud over whether America is trash. In fact, Kanter's Twitter feed doesn't show him posting about the Women's World Cup, the recently concluded World Swimming Championships, July's Outdoor National Track and Field Championship, or even the WNBA season. What Kanter does care about, apparently, is attacking trans women under the guise of caring about women's sports, to the extent that he thinks it will bolster a possible future congressional bid. It is all an act from Kanter, who definitely doesn't care about women's sports, and the only person who thinks he could put up 60 points in a WNBA game is him. It's readily apparent that despite his passionate defense of women's sports, he doesn't actually watch any. Now let's switch from his recent appearance on Fox News to the idea he's been spreading that he was blackballed from the NBA. Kanter believes that he was blackballed from the league due to his stance against China and him saying free Tibet on social media. During his final season with the Boston Celtics, Freedom wore custom-made shoes that not only said Free Tibet and Free Uyghurs, but also called out Nike and the NBA stars he accused of choosing money over morals, specifically LeBron James. In fact, his rise as a right-wing media celebrity seemed to begin when he wore shoes directly ridiculing James. In the end, according to Kanter, his insistence on wearing shoes criticizing the Chinese government, Nike, and others he felt were complicit in the CCP's abhorrent treatment of the Uyghurs led to his deadline trade to the Houston Rockets, which he called China's team because Yao Ming played there. He was immediately released by the Rockets in what many saw as a basic basketball roster move due to Freedom's limited skill set and subpar defense. Celtics president Brad Stevens, meanwhile, has long denied that the team had any issues with Freedom's footwear, saying all the team did was initially check to see if his Free Tibet shoes violated the league's dress code. Kanter is out of the NBA because he is a liability on the defensive end of the floor and cannot contain the pick and roll. Whatever offensive talent he possesses, it's not enough to mitigate the defense. He pretends he's being blackballed by the league because of his political views, which is simply not true. This is a league that still employs Kyrie Irving. Enes Kanter is a fake, a fraud, and only pushes the ideas he does for attention and clicks. He's the biggest clown in all of basketball. Thanks for watching. I'm Herm. Have a good one.